Hi, my name's Hayley Quinn, and I'm here to tell you the first adaptive dating strategy that is here designed and tailored to fit your personality type. So if you're a guy out there and you have been struggling to find dating advice that works for you, this could be the video that turns it all around. Also, please watch to the end of the video because I'm going to be doing a very special announcement, which I think is going to help you out. So if you've been maybe watching quite a few dating advice videos on YouTube and you're hearing the advice, but it's just not sticking. It's like it's telling you to be like an alpha male, or you feel uncomfortable putting it into practice, or when you're speaking to the woman and you try and say the words that you think you're supposed to say, you clam up because it just feels so uncomfortable and so not like you. I can tell you where the problem is, and I can begin to give you a great solution for this. So the problem that, oh, my glasses are falling down my face. The problem is that dating advice for men particularly can be pretty generic. It's like cookie cutter, one size fits all. And if anything we know, people are different and people have different strengths and weaknesses. And nobody's really thought about this regarding dating advice before, but I really see it when I'm working with my private clients, what a difference tailoring advice makes. So right now, if you're out there and you're watching a video and it's maybe telling you about how to be like this alpha male or how to be the world's best pickup artist. I don't know why I'm going to an American accent there, it just came out. And you're trying to follow the advice and it's not fitting and it's not sitting well with you. It's probably because you're trying to model and copy somebody else. And as we all know, when you try and copy anybody else and you're not being authentic, it comes across badly. Also, a problem I see all the time is if the guys that I'm working with don't connect with the advice when I'm coaching them, they don't want to do it. So if you're struggling to put that advice into action and the brakes are coming on in your brain, it's probably because that advice isn't best suited to you. So when I want you to think about dating, I want you to begin to identify what your sticking point is with women versus everybody else's. Now, I have 3 specific types of guys that I see all the time through my clients and my Hayley Quinn Club. And I want you to listen carefully and think which one of these you identify with. Then I'm going to be giving you 3 pieces of advice that are specifically tailored as great things to say depending on which personality type you are. So I've called this personality type A technicians because they are technical. They're very logical. So you might find you fall into this bracket, particularly if you come from maybe an engineering or a science or a technology background. You will usually find that you have a habit of speaking too much in questions and facts. Because of this, you will not know what is the right thing to say to women, and you will often actually completely run out of conversation. When it comes to speaking in a way that is more emotional and that forms a strong connection with women, you kind of don't know what that's even about. It doesn't really fit naturally with your personality. So here's the good news. If you're a technician, this means that you are probably very good at making plans. You're probably going to be coming across as relatively masculine, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But where you might be really falling short is actually in the initial interactions. You know, maybe in the first approach, you're like thinking, how do I possibly get 5 minutes of conversation to get her phone number? If this is you, we need to work on your ability to connect with her. So if you identify yourself as a technician, here's the phrase that I'd love you to use. I want you to say, let's just imagine. Now, let's is a very powerful masculine phrase. Imagine is much more creative, and this is the area I really want you to work on, because right now I think you're probably running out of topics of conversation, because when we enter into a factual exchange, which is like question, answer, the whole conversation just runs out of material. There literally is not enough facts to exchange. So we have to go into an imaginary space, A, to be most entertaining and captivating towards the woman, and B, to physically not run out of things to say. So if you are a technician and you struggle with being too logical and too question driven, saying something like, let us just imagine, opens up a gateway where you can then talk about anything. And it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't even have to be related to the topic that you were speaking about before, because a woman is not logically judging whether the conversation makes sense. She's thinking about how she feels and how engaged she is during this. So if this is you, then I want you to be thinking, okay, you should be thinking something like, let me imagine, or let's just imagine if we met in New York. Where do you think you would have been hanging out? Where would I have seen you? Maybe you'd be walking down Broadway. and I'd be coming across up to you holding a latte, what would you be wearing? Let me think. How would I be flirting with you? Where would I take you on a date? So immediately you can even be using questions, but because you've lifted it out of your immediate scenario and into an imaginary scenario, it will work so much better. This is brilliant, by the way, if the woman is not of the same nationality as you, because then you can imagine what it would be like meeting her in her home country, and you can get her to teach you some chat-up lines in like Swedish or Spanish or wherever she's from. This also is very entertaining and gives you a lot of room to really develop a much bigger conversation. This is a great technique for any guy to use, but it is particularly well suited to technicians. So I hope you're excited to hear about the other two. So B's, you are amiable. Now an amiable guy to me is characterized as Mr. Nice Guy, always the friend. So if the friend zone is basically your postcode, then this is the right strategy for you, because it means that you usually make people feel super comfy around you. In fact, you have almost the opposite problem to the technician, in that people feel comfortable around you, you connect with them well, but you almost connect with them so well that they can't see you as like, sexy man. So if this is you, what we need to understand is that ability to connect with people and have long conversations is a really cool super strength. And actually other guys out there would love to be able to do that. However, what you need to be doing and what you need to think about is, okay, how do I add that spark and that edge that she's always talking about? Now, for a woman, a spark is basically where she feels an intensity of emotion or like a jolt of like, woo, excitement around meeting you. So if the date is too safe and the conversation is too nice and you just connect on a friendship level without any sexual tension, then it's natural for her to put you in the friend bracket. And I want you to like push back on that. A great phrase then for you to use is let me challenge you, or let me just quickly test you. Now a phrase like this increases the tension in the interaction. It makes her feel like, whoa, hang on a second, what's going on? That's because she's put on the spot. Now, for another guy, like the technicians, the optimizers, this might not be a good strategy because the woman might be feeling a bit uncomfortable anyway. But for you, you need her to amiable, so you need to make her feel a bit more uncomfortable. So I want you to work on putting her on the spot. Now you might be thinking, but Hayley, what do I challenge her on? What do I test her on? And I've got a great test. I've got a great test that you can just steal. And this is a good game as well for all of you guys out there to play, because if your dates are lacking spark and like excitement, then the problem could be that you're not being playful enough. Dates are a great time to play. Women generally love guys that can be playful and engaging with them. So you want to be able to say something along the lines of, let me just quickly test you. And then I want you to imagine that I'm holding a box, and inside that there's another box. What is inside the second box? Now this is actually stolen. It's like an interview question, which means it makes people feel tense because they have no idea how they're supposed to answer that. Like, should they say something sexy? Should they say something really normal? Should they say something logical, something creative? Because you don't really give a clear idea about what kind of answer you're expecting, people feel really tense when you ask them this. It also is very revealing about a person's personality as to what they say. Now, if she gives you a really boring answer, like, I don't know, oranges, don't know why I thought of oranges, looking around my room, flowers, pencils, like something that's like, what is that? Then you just say, whoa, that's a really boring answer. I was expecting something far more exciting from you. So you can then again challenge her again on her response and put her on the spot. If she says something very provocative, like, I actually, no joke, true story, I had one of my clients related to me this story, and the woman said condoms. And this was like within the first 5 minutes of meeting him. Now that is pretty punchy. I mean, well done her. But then obviously there's a great opportunity if she says lingerie or like sexy underwear or condoms. That's not very sexy, but you know what I mean? Like, she says something provocative. You can then say, whoa, okay, I didn't expect that from you. You're clearly showing me you have another side to your personality. The point is, regardless of what she says, there's an opportunity here for you to tease, for you to flirt, for you to challenge her. And if you are constantly in the friend zone, you need to do more of this. You really need to get into this part of your personality. Okay, so type number 3, optimizers. Now, optimizers are pretty interesting in that An optimizer wants to be the best. So if you are listening to this and you're like, I'm already doing all of that, or you feel like you are getting good results with women, but you want to be better. If you struggle that you find that you don't actually meet that many women that you actually like, and you're pretty particular, let's just put it that way, then what you might be finding is because you are perfectionist by nature, because you're pushing yourself a lot, you can struggle to relate to people because they never see your vulnerable human side, and you also sometimes don't give them enough of an opportunity to figure out if they're a good woman for you or not. So with this in mind, what I want you to do is I want you to actually get this, do something that if the amiable guy said it, it would be like, whoa, way too much. I want you to admit some vulnerability. This is going to really help you to connect with people and will stop you and will also help you to understand them more and connect with them more deeply. Now, if an amiable guy did this, it would be like he does this naturally, so this would be overload. But for you to do this, it's really necessary. So if you think you're an optimizer, if you have to be the best, and I have to say I'm a bit of an optimizer myself, then actually saying a phrase like this is going to be so helpful to you. And the exact words I'd like you to use are, let me tell you something that I don't often admit to anyone. Let me tell you something that I don't often admit to anyone. Aha, that's cool, right? So if you say this, you can then tell a little story, maybe about a time in your past where you experienced, like, maybe you got fired from your first job, maybe you were teased at school. Open up to something that people would never think about you because you always have this, like, too cool for school image about you. In doing this, the woman is going to trust you more. She'll find that you're more sincere. She'll open up more, and this should help to fix up some of your interactions. So if you guys out there, I want you to be really beginning to think, and why I developed this module, especially for you, is because I want you to understand that not all information is suitable for you. I want you to be selectively using and putting into practice the information that is best fit to your personality. Because I think dating should be simple, i.e. you don't have to like put tons and tons of effort into it, that you actually don't need to read like mountains of information. You just need to pick a good strategy that's really suitable for you. Now, these phrases are all just great phrases anyway for you to use on dates, so keep them in your back pocket, kind of remember them. Also, if you're sitting here listening to this video and you're like, oh, this is interesting, I want to be able to adapt my dating strategy to make it more suitable for me and less about what everybody else has to do. I want to know what my strengths are, I want to know what my weaknesses are. Get this, I've developed an awesome personality test that you can take so you can work out whether you're an optimizer, a technician, or an amiable guy. To get a hold of it, and it's completely free, you just need to hit on the link below that goes to hayleyquinn.com/personality. And there's a free test there so you can work out exactly what kind of guy you are and what category you fall into. This will help you to speed up your dating process by identifying and troubleshooting what areas you need to work on are versus everyone else. Because dating shouldn't be generic, it shouldn't be cookie cutter, it should be about you. So if you want an adaptive personality test for dating that's going to help crush your dating strategy, hit on the link below, hayleyquinn.com/personality, and I'll be back again next week with another video.